I woke up with a mix of excitement and nerves that felt like it would burst through my chest. Today was my wedding day. I rubbed my eyes and reached for my phone. No messages from Madison yet. That was strange. "Ethan, are you up?" Mom's voice called through the hallway. Yeah, I'm getting ready," I shouted back, trying to sound calm. Inside, I was jittery. Dad appeared in the doorway, adjusting his tie. "Big day, son. Ready to see your bride?" "Absolutely," I said, forcing a smile. But something gnawed at me. Madison had been distant this morning, quieter than usual. I shook it off. "She's just nervous," I told myself. At the venue, everything was perfect. The flowers, the lights, the music. It was a dream come true. Guests were taking their seats, smiling, chatting. I couldn't help but grin, imagining Madison walking down the aisle. "Ethan, she's running late," Logan whispered, standing beside me. "She's probably just nervous," I said, though the pit in my stomach grew larger. Minutes stretched into an eternity. The music started. The doors didn't open. I fidgeted at the altar. "Where is she?" I asked, voice tight. "Her car just left. She isn't here," a bridesmaid stammered. "What do you mean she isn't here?" I asked, my heart hammering. The whispers began. A phone rang nearby. Someone answered. I caught a fragment. "Tyler, apartment, New York." My stomach dropped. What are you talking about?" Logan grabbed my arm. "Ethan, I think she ran off. With Tyler." I laughed. A hollow, sharp laugh. "No, that can't be true. Not on our wedding day." Tyler Brooks, Madison's assistant. Always hovering, always too close. And now he had stolen everything from me. I tried calling Madison. Straight to voicemail. Again. And again. "Ethan, guests are asking questions," my sister said softly, tears in her eyes. Tell them I'll explain later," I said, my throat tight. But words felt useless. How do you explain this? How do you explain betrayal so raw, it pierces your chest like a knife? I turned to Logan. "Do they know?" "Everyone. Half the room is whispering. Some are crying. Mom's pale. Dad looks like he wants to throw someone across the room." I clenched my fists. I need to think. My mind raced. Images of our plans, the vows, the smiles, they all crumbled. "Ethan." She left a note, Logan said, holding out a crumpled piece of paper. I snatched it. My eyes skimmed. "I'm sorry. I can't marry you. Tyler, I love him. Goodbye." "Goodbye," I echoed, my voice barely audible. "She left me like this?" "Ethan," Mom's voice cracked. "We're so sorry, honey. Sorry doesn't cut it," I shouted, my vision blurring. I turned away. Guests murmured, some offering awkward smiles, others staring. My humiliation was public, complete. Logan placed a hand on my shoulder. "You didn't deserve this." "I know," I muttered, but it sounded hollow even to me. I just can't believe she did this on our wedding day. I trusted her. I gave her everything. She made her choice," Logan said gently. "But you'll get through this." I looked around the hall, at the empty space where Madison should have walked. The flowers seemed dimmer, the music mournful. Every face reflected pity or disbelief. My perfect day had vanished. I sank onto a chair, burying my face in my hands. Anger, sadness, disbelief, they all fought for dominance inside me. Tyler Brooks had taken my fiancé, my dignity, and left me with nothing but questions and pain. How could she do this? I whispered to no one. Logan sat beside me in silence. My parent hovered, unsure how to comfort me. All I could do was sit there, broken and humiliated, as reality hit harder than any blow ever could. The woman I was going to marry chose someone else. And it happened on the day I had dreamed of for years. I didn't cry. Not yet. I couldn't. All I could feel was the raw, burning ache of betrayal. And deep down, a small, icy spark of something else. Anger. I clenched my jaw. She's going to regret this. I closed the door to my apartment and let it click behind me. The sound felt final, like the world was shutting me out, or maybe I was shutting it out myself. I leaned against it, breathing hard. Ethan? You there? Logan's voice came through my phone speaker. I'm here, I muttered, voice flat. You okay? I laughed, bitter, sharp. Okay? Do you hear yourself? She left me. On our wedding day. Logan was quiet for a moment. I know. I can't even imagine. You don't have to imagine, I said. I lived it. I trusted her, Logan. I gave her everything. And Tyler, that snake, he took her away like it was nothing. I know, man. I know, he said softly. But you can't let this consume you. You need rest, food. You can't shut yourself in forever. I don't want rest. I don't want food. I want her back, but I know I never will. My voice cracked, though I tried to keep it steady. Ethan, come on. At least talk to me. Don't isolate yourself completely. I sank onto the couch. Everywhere I look, I see reminders. The flowers, the music, the notes she left me, the laughter we shared. Did any of it mean anything to her? Was it all just a performance? Logan sighed. It probably meant something at some point. People change or they reveal who they really are. I slammed my hand on the coffee table. Reveal who they really are? She smiled at me while planning all of this behind my back. Tyler, that idiot, he always hovered around her. I should have seen it. I ignored it. I was blind. You weren't blind, Ethan. You were in love. That's different, Logan said firmly. Love doesn't stop betrayal, I muttered. I ran my hands through my hair. I keep replaying everything, Logan. Every dinner, every text, every laugh. And that little smirk she gave when she thought I wouldn't notice Tyler. How could I have missed that? You notice now. That's all that matters, he said. It hurts, I know. But noticing is the first step toward moving forward. I shook my head. Moving forward? How do I even start? Every corner of this apartment reminds me of her. I can't sleep, I can't eat, I can't focus on work. I feel hollow. Then start small, Logan said. Take it one step at a time. Call a friend, go for a walk, breathe. You're not alone, Ethan. I feel alone, I said, voice barely above a whisper. And angry. So angry. Tyler, he pretended to be her friend, her confidant. And she let him. She trusted him more than me. Do you know how that feels? I know it hurts. I can't fix this for you, though, Logan said. You have to choose how you respond. Do you let this destroy you? Or do you find a way to take back control? Take back control, I repeated, testing the words on my tongue. Maybe that's the only way to survive this. But I don't even know where to start. Every time I try to think about it, all I feel is betrayal and rage. Good, Logan said. Use it. Channel it. You can't fight this with despair. Fight it with fire. You're stronger than you think, Ethan. You just need to believe it. I want to believe it, I said. I want to stop seeing her face everywhere. But every text she sent, every late-night call she hid from me, it's all flashing in my mind. And Tyler, I hate him. I hate how smug he looks in her pictures, acting like he's won something.
He hasn't won me, though, right?
He hasn't taken that. Logan paused. No one can take your life, Ethan. Not her. Not him. You decide what comes next. I clench my fists. You're right. I can't. I won't let them define me. I need to be smarter, stronger. I need to wake up tomorrow and start taking my life back. You sound more like yourself, Logan said, a hint of relief in his voice. It's a start. Just don't bottle it all in. Talk, write, scream, whatever you need. But don't disappear into yourself completely. I'll try, I said. But tonight, I just need to let this sink in. I need to let the anger burn a little. And I need to remember every hint I missed. Every little sign. Tyler, I'll remember him. Madison, I'll remember her. And someday they'll understand what they lost. Ethan, Logan's voice was soft. I'll be here. Always. You're not alone. I know, I whispered. And that's why I can feel something other than pain right now. A spark. Maybe it's rage. Maybe it's hope. I don't know. But I feel it. And I won't let it go to waste. We sat in silence for a moment. I held my phone loosely, staring at the ceiling, feeling the weight of the betrayal settle around me like a storm, but underneath, a spark of determination flickered, fragile but alive. And for the first time since Madison left, I believed I could survive this. The charity gala was loud, bright, and full of people who didn't know my name.
Perfect.
I wanted to disappear. Ethan Carter, right? A voice said beside me. I turned. A woman, slightly taller than me, with warm brown eyes and a confident smile, looked at me. Yes, I said cautiously. Do we know each other? She laughed softly.
Not yet.
I'm Sophia Bennett. You're staring at your drink like it holds all the answers to life. Maybe it does, I muttered, not ready to engage but curious enough to keep her talking. Trouble in paradise, she asked lightly, tilting her head. I almost scoffed, but something in her gaze made me honest. You could say that. My fiancée ran off with her assistant. Wedding day. Can you believe it? Her eyebrows rose.
Wow. I'm sorry.
That's brutal. I can't imagine. Yeah, it's surreal, I admitted. Everything planned, everyone there, and then gone. Just like that. People can be cruel, she said softly.
Or weak.
Or just selfish. Or all of the above, I muttered. I was surprised by how easily I spilled my thoughts. Sophia didn't interrupt or judge. She just nodded. I know what you mean, she said after a pause. People see the surface, but they don't see the cracks underneath. Fame, attention, everyone thinks it's all fun, all smiles. But inside, it can be lonely. Just like you, I guess. Lonely? I asked. I never thought someone like you would feel that way too. She shrugged. We all have our battles. Yours is heartbreak. Mine, the pressure never stops. But I get it. The emptiness, the betrayal, it eats at you. I can't stop thinking about them, I admitted. Madison, Tyler, every laugh, every smile I thought was real. Now I can't trust anything. Not even myself for missing the signs. Sophia nodded again, her voice gentle. Trust takes time to rebuild. And you need someone who listens, not someone who judges. Maybe I'm just meeting you at the right or wrong moment, but I can listen. I wanted to tell her no, to stay closed off, but I couldn't. Something about her was different.
Warm. Real.
Not like Madison, whose charm masks selfishness. I don't know why I'm talking to a stranger, I said. I'm usually all private. Not great at sharing feelings. You're doing it anyway, she said with a small grin. And that's brave. Most people run from this stuff. You're not most people. I felt a small smile tug at my lips. I guess I'm not. You want a distraction? She asked. Or do you just want to sit here and relive the disaster of your love life? Maybe a little distraction, I said. But the reliving, it's unavoidable. Sophia laughed softly. Fair enough. Tell me about your work. Or your favorite movie. Or your most embarrassing moment. I'm all ears. I rolled my eyes but chuckled. I'm not sure embarrassing moments are a good idea. But work, sure. I run a small tech firm. Nothing glamorous. Just code, meetings, stress. Pretty boring. Not boring if it's yours, she said. You've built it, right? That's impressive. And stress, we all have that. I sing, perform, and people think it's glamorous. But the pressure never stops. Fans, contracts, appearances, every day is a test. I studied her. She sounded strong, yet her words carried a quiet vulnerability. I guess we both know what it's like to feel trapped. Different worlds, same feelings. Exactly, she said. And maybe that's why we're talking now. Because sometimes strangers get it better than friends. I nodded slowly, the tension in my chest loosening just slightly. I don't usually meet people like you at these events. Usually it's all small talk, shallow smiles. But you listen. You actually get it. I try, she said, smiling warmly. And maybe someday I'll be the reason you remember this night for something good, not just heartbreak. I hope so, I said, surprising myself. Her optimism was contagious. Right now, hope feels foreign, but I'll take it.
Good, she said.
Start small, one step at a time. And who knows? Life might surprise you when you least expect it. I laughed softly. You make it sound simple. Life's never simple, she said, eyes sparkling. But it can be better if you let it. For the first time in days, I felt something shift. A spark of something other than anger, something warmer, brighter. Maybe it was hope. Or maybe it was the first hint that not all connections ended in betrayal. Ethan, she said, glancing at the stage. Dinner's about to start. Want to grab a table together? I'd like that, I said, standing. And as we walked toward the crowd, the weight in my chest felt a little lighter. For the first time since Madison left, I felt the possibility of moving forward. Not fully healed, not yet, but enough to believe that life wasn't completely over. I stare at my phone, scrolling through Madison's posts. There they were, Tyler grinning like he'd won the lottery, Madison leaning on him, looking like they'd never caused anyone pain. My stomach churned. Unbelievable, I muttered. You okay? Sophia asked from across the room, her voice gentle. No, I admitted. I'm not okay. She's flaunting it, Sophia. Like, she didn't just ruin my life a week ago. Then don't look, she said simply. Don't give them that power. You control your own life, Ethan. Not them. I ran a hand through my hair. Easy for you to say. You didn't get left at the altar by someone you trusted completely. I get it, she said softly. I can't fix it, but I can help you focus on what matters, yourself, your future. You don't have to let her define you. I looked at her and realized she was right. Sitting here, stewing, doing nothing, it wouldn't bring her back. It wouldn't take away the humiliation. Then I need a plan, I said. I can't waste energy on resentment alone. I need to work. I need to rebuild myself. Stronger. Smarter. Better than before. Good, Sophia said, her eyes bright. And I'll be here to remind you how far you've come when you feel like giving up. I nodded. Thanks. I appreciate that more than I can say. The next few days were grueling. I threw myself into my company, longer hours, tighter deadlines. Each success reminded me that I could still control something in my life. Logan noticed. You've changed, he said. Not bitter anymore, focused. Like you finally woke up. I woke up, I said. Madison made a choice. Tyler made a choice. Now it's my turn. Good, he said, clapping me on the shoulder. Don't let them see you sweat. Let them think they won, while you quietly take over your own world. I smiled grimly. That was exactly what I intended. Then Olivia King came into my life. She was sharp, confident, and relentless, the kind of person who made everyone around her think twice before acting. You're Ethan Carter? She asked at our first meeting, scrutinizing me like she could see right through my thoughts. Yes, I said, slightly intimidated. I've heard about your situation, she said bluntly. Madison Lane? Tyler Brooks? Pathetic. But they're irrelevant. What matters is you, your potential, and how you're going to rise from this. You either play the game, or you get played. I swallowed. And you can teach me how to not get played? She smirked. Not just survive.
Thrive.
Make sure your enemies regret underestimating you. Her confidence was infectious. She helped me strategize at work, guided me on networking, and introduced me to people who expanded my world. Friends, colleagues, mentors. The circle grew, and so did my confidence. One evening, Sophia and I were walking through the city after a long day of meetings. You look different, she said, smiling. I feel different, I admitted. I'm not the same person who cried over Madison. I'm stronger.
Sharper.
And I think I'm ready for whatever comes next. Good, she said, linking her arm with mine. Because you deserve better than the betrayal you experienced. I nodded, thinking about Madison and Tyler, about their smug smiles and public posts. Anger simmered, but it felt controlled now. I didn't want revenge that would ruin me. I wanted power, respect, and success that they could never touch. Do you think about them often? Sophia asked cautiously. Sometimes, I admitted, but not to dwell. To remember why I can't go back. Why I need to rise. And maybe someday they'll see the difference. Not because I flaunt it, but because I became unstoppable. You've changed, she said again, warmth in her eyes. I've never met anyone who could take so much pain and turn it into this. You inspire me, Ethan. I felt a small rush of pride, but I didn't let it soften me completely. Thanks, Sophia. I think I'm finally ready to stop being broken, ready to take control. The next weeks were a blur of late nights, ambitious projects, and social events. Madison's posts kept coming, each one a reminder, but instead of anger consuming me, it fueled me. I wanted to succeed. I wanted to grow. And with Olivia guiding me, I learned to navigate challenges with strategy instead of emotion. At a company launch event, I caught a glimpse of Madison on the big screen, smiling at Tyler like nothing had happened. I didn't flinch. Not this time. I turned to Sophia. They look happy, she said quietly. I see them, I said, voice steady. But I don't envy them. Not anymore. I've got my life, my goals, my people. I'm rising from the ashes, Sophia. And no one can stop me. She smiled at me, her eyes shining. Then rise, Ethan. Show the world who you really are. And for the first time in months, I felt in control. Not just of my emotions, but of my destiny. Madison and Tyler had made their choices. I had made mine. And mine was far from over. I adjusted my jacket nervously, scanning the crowd at the music awards. The lights, cameras, and flashes made the evening feel unreal, like I had stepped into someone else's world. Ethan, relax, Sophia whispered, squeezing my hand. Just enjoy it. No pressure. I'm fine, I said, though my stomach tightened. My eyes drifted across the room, and then I saw them. Madison, Tyler, together, laughing, smiling, utterly oblivious to my existence. I froze for a moment, heart hammering. Logan would have said I looked like a deer caught in headlights, but I couldn't move. Are you okay? Sophia asked again, concern lacing her tone. I think so, I muttered, forcing my face into a calm mask. Just hadn't expected to see them tonight. She tilted her head, studying me. Want to stay away from them, or face it? Face it, I said, taking a deep breath. I needed composure. I wasn't the man sobbing at the altar anymore. Not today. Madison caught my gaze and froze briefly. Tyler, arrogant as ever, leaned closer and whispered something in her ear. She laughed nervously, a little too loud, and I noticed it, the first crack. Something fell off. I see it, I murmured to Sophia. She's smiling, but it's forced. He's overbearing. And she doesn't seem entirely happy. Sophia raised an eyebrow. Interesting. You're analyzing them like a chess game. Maybe, I said with a smirk. But they gave me a lot of material. Material, she asked. Behavior patterns. How they interact. Tyler's arrogance. Madison's controlling streak. They're a show, not a partnership. And I can use that. Sophia nodded slowly. Ethan, that's a dangerous path, but I see your point. You're not acting out of revenge, right? Just karmic balance. Yes, I said firmly. I won't stoop to their level. But I can reclaim my dignity quietly, subtly. Make them see the consequences of their choices without my hand directly striking. Sounds clever, she said, smiling. I like it. As the awards began, I focused on Sophia. She was stunning, confident, and genuine, so different from Madison. I felt a warmth beside me that I hadn't known in months. You've changed, Sophia whispered as a camera flashed nearby. Not just in confidence, you carry yourself differently. It's attractive. I laughed softly, a low, satisfied sound. I think it's called surviving betrayal and refusing to be broken. She chuckled. And thriving in the process. Meanwhile, Madison waved at a group of photographers, trying to dominate the spotlight. Tyler held her arm possessively, chest puffed up, clearly enjoying the attention. He had always been arrogant, but seeing it in public, so obvious, made him look ridiculous. She's still playing the perfect fiancée, I murmured, watching her smile falter slightly as Tyler barked instructions at the event coordinator. But he's overbearing, and she's trying to control him. Sophia followed my gaze. I see it. Tension. Cracks forming. They can't keep this up forever. Exactly, I said. And while they're busy pretending, I'll be building real power. Success they can't touch, connections they can't manipulate, respect they can't buy. Sophia grinned. I like the sound of that. You're turning heartbreak into strategy. I smirked. Not just strategy. Preparation. When the moment comes, they'll realize they underestimated me. And the irony? I won't have to raise a finger to hurt them. Their own flaws will do it. She laughed softly. I think you're enjoying this a little too much. Maybe, I admitted. But it feels good. Control. Direction. I'm not at their mercy anymore. The show continued, and I noticed Madison stealing glances at me, though she quickly looked away each time. Tyler, oblivious, barked orders at a waiter, flexing his influence like it mattered. I felt no fear, no jealousy. Just a calm clarity. They're unstable, I murmured. He's arrogant, she's insecure, and together, they're a disaster waiting to happen. Sophia leaned closer, whispering, and you're ready to witness it unfold. I'm ready, I said firmly. Not because I'm cruel, but because I've survived. Because I've grown. Because I won't be defined by their choices anymore. As the night went on, Sophia and I shared quiet laughter, whispered commentary, and subtle glances that made my chest feel lighter than it had in months. I realized how far I'd come, from a broken, humiliated man to someone who could stand tall, observe, and plan. Ethan, Sophia said softly as the ceremony ended, I think this is the first time I've seen you genuinely free. I smiled at her. Not entirely free, but closer than I've been since Madison left. And with you here, it feels possible. Good, she said, squeezing my hand, because the real game is just beginning. I looked at Madison and Tyler one last time before leaving the hall. Their smiles, their poses, their fake happiness, it didn't scare me. I felt only calm, focus, and the thrill of anticipation. Let them play their game, I whispered to Sophia. I'm building mine. She smiled knowingly. And you'll win, Ethan. I believe it. I nodded, feeling a rare spark of satisfaction. This was no longer about heartbreak or humiliation. It was about growth, strategy, and the quiet, inevitable consequences of choices made in arrogance. And tonight, I realized I was ready for every twist of fate coming my way. I watched the news feed scroll across my phone, barely believing it. My project, the app I'd been pouring hours into, was trending. Media outlets were praising its innovation, its accessibility. Interviews, articles, live mentions. Everything was turning in my favor. Sophia, I whispered, a grin spreading across my face. It's actually happening. People are noticing. They see what we've built. You deserve this, Ethan, she said, sitting beside me at the cafe, stirring her tea. All your hard work, all the late nights, it's paying off. I'm proud of you. I felt a warmth spread through me. Pride, yes, but also a calm satisfaction. Not revenge, not malice, just the natural result of effort and resilience. Meanwhile, I muttered, scrolling through social media. There's Madison again, flaunting her life with Tyler. And now people are starting to see him for who he really is. Sophia leaned over, reading my screen. What do you mean? I mean colleagues, mutual friends, they're calling him out subtly. Little things. Complaints about his arrogance, his inability to collaborate, the way he treats Madison like she's property. You can see the cracks forming. She nodded. And she's trapped in that? Poor thing, although I guess she's only starting to realize it. I smirked faintly.
Yeah.
And the irony is delicious. I'm not doing a thing, and yet, karma seems to be at work. Careful, Sophia said softly. Don't let satisfaction turn into obsession. Focus on you.
I know, I said.
And I am. But I won't deny it feels good to see the universe balancing itself. I've been patient, Sophia. And patience is paying off. At the same time, my inbox filled with messages, media requests, collaborations, invitations to speak at events. Logan had been reminding me to pace myself, but I felt energized, alive. You've changed, he said during our lunch. I mean, completely. From the guy curled up at home to this. You're thriving, man. Really thriving. I am, I admitted, smiling. And it's because I stopped letting Madison define my worth. Tyler, Madison, they're part of the past. My focus is now entirely forward. But I couldn't help checking Madison's feed occasionally. Her captions grew tense, controlling. Every post with Tyler seemed like a carefully curated image of perfection, but the comments betrayed hints of chaos. Friends were already noticing his arrogance, and she was visibly stressed. She's trying too hard, I murmured to Sophia one evening as we watched her latest story. It's like she's constructing a facade while Tyler's behavior eats away at it. She looks stressed, Sophia said quietly. And jealous. I think she's realizing you're succeeding while she's stuck in that chaos. Exactly, I said. And I don't need to act. I don't need to push. The universe is doing it for me. Sophia reached over, placing her hand over mine. You're amazing, Ethan. And you're doing it the right way. Strong, composed, growing. I smiled, but there was a twinge of melancholy. I won't lie, part of me wants to reach out, make sure she understands the difference between us. But another part knows it's not necessary. They'll see it anyway in time. You've changed, she repeated softly, her voice almost a whisper. You're not the same man who cried at the altar. You're someone else entirely, someone no one can touch emotionally anymore. Someone stronger, I said, squeezing her hand gently. And maybe someone who can finally feel happiness without strings attached. That's why this project matters so much. It's proof. Proof that I can build, create, and thrive even when everything seemed lost. Over the next week, Tyler's colleagues started venting in private chats, subtly criticizing his leadership. He snapped at small errors, his arrogance alienating friends. Madison, ever the perfectionist, tried to intervene, only creating more tension. Every story, every complaint, fed the quiet unraveling of their image. I observed it all, a quiet witness. Logan noticed my restraint. You're not gloating, he said. You're just watching. And it's almost poetic. Not gloating, I said, staring out the window. I'm learning, observing, and letting life handle the consequences naturally. Sophia leaned against me that night. And meanwhile, look at you, standing tall, independent, respected, happy. I exhaled, feeling a strange mixture of satisfaction and melancholy. It's not revenge, it's balance. Karma in motion, and I feel at peace with it, even if part of me wishes things had been different. You're stronger than you realize, she said. And this is only the beginning. We'll keep building. Together. I smiled softly. Together, I echoed. And for the first time in months, I felt that calm, certain thrill of justice unfolding. Not through my hand, but through natural consequences. Madison's jealousy, Tyler's arrogance, their cracks, they were all pieces falling into place. And me? Sophia asked gently. Do you feel content? Content. I paused. Not entirely, but ready. Ready for the next chapter, the next challenge. And knowing that the world's balancing itself, it's a comfort I never expected to have. Sophia smiled. Then let's move forward, Ethan. Stronger, smarter, together. Let the universe do its work, while we do ours. I nodded, heart steady, mind clear. Karma was in motion. And for the first time since my wedding day, I felt like the one who had the power. Not over others, but over myself, and that was all I needed. I sat across from Sophia at our favorite cafe, the afternoon sun spilling through the windows. For once, I wasn't thinking about Madison or Tyler. I wasn't thinking about betrayal or revenge. I was just present. You've been quiet, Sophia said, stirring her coffee. Her eyes searched mine. Something on your mind? I guess. I paused, unsure how to say it. I've been thinking about everything. About how far I've come. And about us. Us, she repeated, a small, curious smile forming. Yes, us, I said, leaning forward. I don't just want your support, Sophia. I want you. I like you. I care about you more than I thought I could after everything. She blinked, then laughed softly, a warm, melodic sound that made my chest tighten. Ethan, I was hoping you'd say that. Because I've felt the same way. You're different from anyone I've ever met. Strong, honest, vulnerable all at the same time. I reached across the table and took her hand. I've felt so broken, Sophia. But with you, I feel whole again. You've shown me trust, patience, and understanding. Not once have you judged me or tried to fix me. You've just been there. And you've grown so much, she said, her thumb brushing my hand. Look at you. Confident, accomplished, and yet still kind, still caring. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of us, I whispered. Of what we're building together. Her smile widened, and she leaned closer. Then maybe it's time we stop holding back. I swallowed, feeling a warmth spreading through me. I don't want to hold back anymore, I said. Not with you. Not ever again. Our eyes met, and for the first time in months, I felt the weight of the past lift. The betrayal, the humiliation, the heartbreak, they didn't vanish completely, but they were no longer the center of my world. Sophia's hand in mine anchored me, reminded me that love could heal, that trust could be rebuilt, and that happiness could be a victory in itself. Later that evening, my phone buzzed. Madison. I froze. The sight of her name brought a mix of curiosity and indifference. Do you want to answer it? Sophia asked gently, noticing my hesitation. I should, I said, taking a deep breath. But on my terms. I answered. Madison. Ethan. I need to talk. I've made a mistake. I can't stop thinking about you. Please, can we meet? Her voice trembled, desperate. I stayed calm. Madison, your choices hurt me deeply. You ran off with Tyler. You humiliated me in front of everyone. I've spent months rebuilding myself, and I've realized my happiness isn't tied to you anymore. I know I messed up. I can't explain. Don't explain, I said firmly but calmly. What happened happened. I'm moving forward. And I hope you find clarity too. But my life, my growth, isn't yours to disrupt. Her silence was heavy, punctuated by her sniffle. I'm sorry, Ethan. Truly. I didn't know what I had until it was gone. I know, I said softly. But apologies don't undo the past. They only guide the future. And right now, my future includes happiness, love, and respect. And I found that with Sophia. There was a pause, and I could hear the breaking realization in her voice. I understand. I ended the call, my chest lighter than I'd felt in months. Sophia squeezed my hand. You handled that beautifully, she said. With grace, not bitterness. That's strength. I've learned, I said, smiling. Strength isn't revenge. Strength is knowing your worth and protecting your peace. And right now, I'm peaceful. The next week, I noticed the repercussions of Madison and Tyler's choices. Tyler faced public criticism for arrogance and poor leadership at his company. Promotions slipped through his fingers, colleagues distanced themselves, and his confident facade began crumbling. Madison's panic was subtle at first, overly careful captions, forced smiles, but soon became obvious as Tyler lashed out at her in private, their relationship fraying. Looks like karma has a sense of humor, I murmured to Sophia, leaning against the balcony of my apartment that evening. She laughed softly. And you're not even doing anything. It's satisfying, isn't it? Yes, I admitted. But more than satisfaction, it's clarity. I don't need to humiliate them. I don't need to show them. Life is doing that. My victory isn't watching them fail. It's living my best life, thriving and loving freely. Sophia's hand found mine again. And we're doing it together, she said. Together, I repeated, feeling a genuine smile spread across my face. The sunlight reflected off the buildings, warm on my skin, and for the first time, I felt complete. Not through revenge, not through retaliation, but through self-respect, growth, and love. That's real triumph, Sophia whispered. Not revenge. Not spite. Just life done right. I nodded, pressing a kiss to her hand. Life done right. And I finally understand it. Madison and Tyler's choices don't define me. My choices do. And I choose happiness, love, and strength. Every day. As the evening sky deepened into night, I felt a calm certainty settle over me. I had moved on. I had loved, lost, and learned. I had regained my dignity, found my partner in Sophia, and discovered that true victory wasn't in hurting those who wronged me. It was in thriving despite them. And for the first time in a long while, I knew completely and undeniably that I was free. I stood on the balcony of my apartment, the city lights twinkling below, and felt the quiet calm wash over me. It was a strange feeling after months of chaos, peace, clarity, and anticipation all at once. Sophia joined me, her hand brushing against mine. "Beautiful night," she said softly, leaning on my shoulder. "It is," I agreed, taking a deep breath. "And beautiful for a different reason this time. Not because of the city, because of everything we've been through." She smiled, glancing up at me. "I'm glad you've found peace, Ethan. You've earned it. We've both earned it." I chuckled softly. I don't know if I ever truly understood what that meant until now. Not peace after heartbreak, but strength, happiness, and trust. All three together. Sophia squeezed my hand. "And love. Don't forget love." I smiled, feeling my chest tighten with warmth.
"Yes, love."
Real love. Something I never thought I'd feel again after Madison. "I'm glad you gave me a chance," she said, looking into my eyes. "Because you didn't have to. You could have stayed closed off forever." "And I almost did," I admitted, shaking my head. "But you were different. Patient. Honest. You didn't try to fix me, you just helped me see that I could fix myself." She laughed softly, brushing her fingers over mine. "I'll take credit for that. But mostly it was you. You chose to rise. You chose to move forward." I leaned closer, feeling a sense of finality in the words I was about to speak. "And I choose us, Sophia. No looking back, no lingering regrets. We build together. We move forward together. That's my promise." "And mine," she said, her smile radiant. "We'll face everything together. The good, the bad, everything." I thought about Madison and Tyler, about the weeks of humiliation, betrayal, and subtle satisfaction as karma unfolded. Their downfall wasn't mine to orchestrate. It was natural. And watching it happen quietly, without my intervention, had been strangely validating. "They're gone from my mind," I admitted. Not in the sense that I ignore what happened, but in the sense that I don't let it control me. Their mistakes taught me lessons, and I've moved on. Sophia rested her head on my shoulder. "And that's what makes you strong. You didn't just survive. You thrived." "I guess I did," I said softly. "I've built a life, regained confidence, and even found love that feels real. Logan, Olivia, they all helped in different ways. And you, Sophia, you made it possible for me to see that life isn't over just because someone betrayed me." She looked up, curious. "Do you ever think about Madison reaching out?" "Sometimes," I admitted. "She did try. She called, apologized, and even seemed desperate. But I stayed composed. I told her clearly how she hurt me and that my life had moved forward. She's learned, perhaps the hard way, that choices have consequences." "And Tyler?" Sophia asked quietly. "Tyler's facing setbacks. Professional failures, colleagues turning against him, Madison realizing she's trapped in a relationship built on arrogance and control. Their world is crumbling, but I don't feel satisfaction. I feel closure. Justice happens naturally. I don't need to intervene." Sophia smiled, resting her forehead against mine. You're incredible, Ethan. Not because you succeeded, but because you did it with dignity, compassion, and self-respect. I learned that the hard way, I admitted, closing my eyes for a moment. Heartbreak teaches lessons we don't want to learn, but necessary ones. And I'm grateful for the people who stayed, for the love I found, and even for the pain that made me stronger. You've come so far, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the city hum. And we have so much ahead of us. Dreams, plans, happiness, it's all waiting. I smiled, feeling my heart light and steady. We've been through storms, but the calm, it's worth it. And now I know, no betrayal, no heartbreak, no arrogance from others can stop what we're building together. She squeezed my hand. So, what's next? I laughed softly. Next is everything we want. Travel, projects, maybe a home together. Success, love, joy, not because it proves something to anyone else, but because we've earned it. We define our own happiness now. Sophia leaned into me. I like that. Defining our happiness. Together. I kissed her forehead, a quiet promise of all the tomorrows ahead. Together, I echoed. And as the night deepened, I felt the full weight of my journey, from betrayal to heartbreak, despair to empowerment. Finally release. The city lights reflected on the glass, twinkling like stars, and for the first time, I felt entirely at peace. Madison and Tyler were cautionary tales, their choices no longer shadows over my life. Logan's loyalty, Olivia's guidance, Sophia's love, they were the pillars of my transformation. I exhaled slowly, feeling the final thread of resentment unravel. We rise, we grow, we love, and we thrive, I whispered to myself, looking at Sophia, at the world, at everything that was ahead. She smiled, wrapping her arms around me. And we do it together. Always. Yes, I said softly, closing my eyes. Together. And this is just the beginning.